Hi developers, in this video we'll learn how to use Cognitive Services for Text Analytics API in order to extract some useful information from a text. I'm Hossein Delai, Microsoft MVP. Join me in this video to show you how we can do this from Microsoft Cognitive Services Console API. Let's see how to use Cognitive Services for Text Analytics from a web application. So here we have a demo prepared, and so if you go to this URL right here, you will get this same web app exposed publicly. So here what we need to do is to paste the text that we want to analyze. So here I paste a text, and you see it's not in English, it's in French. And here Text Analytics can analyze not only English but also French text. So I'll go and apply sentiment and key phrases to analyze this text. So hit next step. That will send an HTTP request containing this text to the Azure AI services for the service responsible for analyzing texts, and then it will give us this response right here. And you see here we do have the same text but with the keywords tagged in blue. Then we can apply also sentiment and or actually we do have sentiment. We get the sentiment expression here, and it tells us that it's neutral, it's 50%. Another information we can get is the entity linking. So if I apply analyzing to get entity linking, you see here we do have now text with links, and you see those links. I use Wikipedia in order to get general information about those links. Here I'm searching for Eiffel Tower, so it will give me the right link to the Wikipedia documentation. Another cool thing we can apply right here is the Bing entity search. What is that? So if I click next right here, you see we get another response. Here are the links to the Wikipedia, and they are linked through using the Bing search engine. So this way we can get the whole context of a text, so we can know what is the subject of this text and what are the keywords and what are the links that might give us more information about the content of our text. When we click the buttons for sentiment and key phrases, entity linking and Bing entity search, what happened here is that an HTTP request was created. It embedded this text and it go to the Azure AI services for the Cognitive Services API for text analytics. Then that service took this text and analyzed it. Then it gives back the result. How we can now create this HTTP request? So for that we can go to Cognitive Services to the console page right here, and here we are in the service for text analytics API, where we can invoke the 4 API services for detecting the language, entities, key phrases and sentiments. Let's take for example the key phrases. Here we need to create the HTTP request. The first thing to start with is the headers, and we say here the content type is application/JSON. We can also use text, but we want to use a JSON, that's fine. Then we need to use our subscription key. So the subscription key is the key you get in order to be able to access this service. And if you go to the home page for that service and log in, then you can create multiple services right here by clicking the add button. You choose the API you want to access, and then you will get 2 keys for each API. Here I created the text analytics API, and here the 2 keys. I'll go and use the first one. I'll go and copy it, then I'll paste it right here. So this key will allow me to access the API key. Without this key I will have access denied. Then the request body. Here we do have a sample for a request body. You see that here we'll send documents that contains 1 or more texts. In each one we can specify the language for that text. Let's take the text that we have analyzed previously right here. So I'll go and copy this text, then I'll paste it right here. And because this is a French, so I'll go and say that here is FR for saying French, and I'll go and just delete the other texts. I don't need to analyze those ones. That's it. Then we need to specify the request URL, and here you see it tells that this is using the West Central US API for cognitive services, and it's invoking the key phrases API. Here I just to make sure that you use the API key for West Central US. If I go back here to where I have my API keys, you see that here it tells me that this key could be used only with this endpoint, West Central US. So if you ask it for another key for let's say East Central US, for example, you cannot use it with West Central US. So make sure to use the right API key. So we do have the required information for the body and for the request URL, and now this is all the information provided on our HTTP request, including the subscription key and our text, of course. Now we'll send this to the API key or to the API for cognitive services, and it gives us a response 200 OK with a JSON file containing the description for this text. And here you see we get all the key phrases expressed in that text, and those are the same key phrases we get in our demoing website.